So next up, we have a presentation from Ora Gold with the ticker code OAU, a company which has renewed growth strategy and re-energized team focused on its advanced gold projects in WA. To tell us more, I am joined by the CEO, Alex Passmore.
Hi there, Jane. Yes, very well. It's a pleasure to be presenting Ora Gold today. So we're actually undertaking a transaction that will see me become the CEO, I think on the 9th of March. So my title is proposed CEO for the minute, but we're expecting that transaction to complete without issue. So it is a pleasure to be presenting Ora Gold this morning. Ora Gold used to be called Thunderlara Exploration, which many of you may have heard of. Thunderlara was founded by Phil Crabb around 20 years ago, and Phil is a well-known West Australian goldfields operator. He's a mine manager, his own drilling companies. He's credited with the discovery of the million-ounce Yilgarn Star project near Southern Cross, and so Phil has been successfully running Thunderlara for many years. He's now reached a retirement point, and hence my involvement coming in more recently. So I've been working with Ora since late last year to gain an understanding of the project at Garden Gully, which is a high-grade advanced project surrounded by operating mills. Ora Gold, has under the Thunderlara banner, it was very busy. It had projects around Australia, but over time it's transitioned into just focusing on the Garden Gully Gold Project, which has got gold and a copper prospect, but many gold prospects. And so it's a simple new structure and a simple new company focused on WA gold, which is shallow, high grade, and surrounded by mills. So when looking at the Garden Gully project, which is just here, just to the north of Meekatharra, 20 kilometres to the north of Meekatharra, what attracted me to the project is it sits in the Abbotts Greenstone Belt, which is a very underdone greenstone belt, and to the north of Westgold's Q operations, and just to the west of the Andy Well project. The belt has been owned by piecemeal by several different companies, and Ora Gold now has a dominant position in the belt. There's a range of prospects. The Crown Prince prospect is the most advanced of these, and there's super high grades, very shallow, and also extending down to around 250 meters depth from surface. And frankly, the market hasn't even isn't aware of the higher grade and the high return potential for this project. So I'm joining. We're raising money, cleaning up the balance sheet, and then pushing forward with the Garden Gully project. So just turning to the corporate situation on Ora. We've got a very experienced board. So Rick Crabb's our chairman. Rick's on the board of Paladin and Leo Lithium. Got Mal Randall, who's on the board of Argosy and Hastings. I'm joining. I've got a long track record in the resources sector, both on the finance side, but also running companies. Our plan from here is to build out the team, progress Garden Gully, and then look at how we can get Crown Prince into production in the not so distant future. As I was saying earlier, I think that Crown Prince and Garden Gully, not many people in the market have heard of it, which is very much undeserving given how high grade it is. So just running quickly through the transaction that we're undertaking, which will close in early March. So at the moment, the company's embarked on a 3-for-1 renounceable rights issue to clear debt that was on the balance sheet that was provided by Phil Crabb over years. And Phil funded the company during some pretty difficult markets over the last year, and so that's where that debt comes from. But we would rather move forward, funded by equity, and so the rights issue allows us to do that. So we'll emerge from this transaction with an 11.8 million market cap, 3.3 in net cash, an aggressive drilling program planned to start in March, and then resource updates to follow after that. We've been supported by Canaccord Genuity, and they've been strong supporters, and they're driving this transaction as well. So I come to Ora Gold having most recently run Rox Resources. Rox is a gold explorer and developer in WA. It's very relevant to the Ora Gold situation. I brought in the You and Me Gold project into Rox around 4 years ago, and we progressed that pretty strongly. So we went from a 1.2 million ounce resource to a 3.2 million ounce resource. That's really nearing a development decision now. Big project, and we would like to do something similar or if not better at Ora Gold. So the other I guess relevant things to the Ora Gold that very much attracted me to the company was the scale of the belt and the size of the belt, and that there are base metal prospects in here as well. So we look forward very much to seeing what we can do at the Abbotts Greenstone Belt more broadly. So turning to Garden Gully in a little bit more detail. So north of Meekatharra, 20 kilometre long belt. The very large scale Abenaki shear zone runs up to the northeast southwest, striking through the project, and just to the south of the Crown Prince project. Meekatharra is a very good place to operate. Easy access for us. We've got sheds and offices in Meekatharra. Easy to get drillers, easy to get samples in and out from site. So just looking at that geology in a little bit more detail. So it sits in its own greenstone belt called the Abbotts Greenstone Belt. Here's Andy Well. Now Crown Prince, to me, the closest comparison is an Andy Well. So it's a high grade tension vein, an echelon stepping veins in a greenstone belt, quartz vein hosted, very simple metallurgy. Footside alteration on the hanging wall and the footwall, which is very similar to Andy Well, and very simple metallurgy. There's a small resource there now, around 55,000 ounces at 3.6 grams. I don't believe that reflects the potential scale of the project. That is only one central vein, and we can see we've identified around 5 echelon stepping veins now, and so that resource is down to only 100 meters in one of those central veins, very much underdone, so we're likely to see that grow. So Crown Prince is the most advanced project in the belt. In terms of the other projects that we're very interested in and we will be focusing on in the upcoming drilling program is Lydia, which is a gold prospect, which is 1.5 kilometers away from Crown Prince. So Lydia doesn't have a resource on it. It's a slightly different style of geology. It's based around a north-south trending shear zone, and is open at depth. And then the third project that we'll be focused on, the third prospect that we'll be focused on, is Abbotts. So just turning to Crown Prince in a little bit more detail, you can see here the N echelon stepping veins that I mentioned. So the resource is just on this vein. That the 55,000 ounces is just a shallow resource sitting on this vein. So you can see that that the ore body is very much open in terms of its endowment with these veins occurring in an echelon stepping manner. Our recent drilling program has returned some super high grades from shallow depths, so 20 meters at 15 grams from 30 meters, and these veins are not in the current resource. So that's where we'll be focused in our drilling program that's starting in March. Just looking at the depth potential of Crown Prince. So you can see here our deepest hit, 8 meters at 22 from 260 meters. It shows that the mineralization extends well below the supergene enrichment zone, and there's barely any drilling around those high grades. So we look forward to getting stuck into those as well. Lydia, which I mentioned, is 1.5 kilometers to the southwest of Crown Prince. Shallow mineralization, very much open. This is a tension gas mineralization based on a north-south trending shear zone. Pretty common sort of geology for an Archean greenstone belt. We've got some very, very high grades. You can see 12 at 5, 7 at 116, yet to be put into a resource. So we look forward to following those up. The Abbotts Prospect, which is in the northern end of the belt, different geology to Crown Prince and Lydia again. This gold mineralization here is centered on a north-south trending shear zone, which is one of those controlling structures that we see at Crown Prince. And you can see here some pretty spectacular grades from surface. So 4 at 14, 4 at 10, 3 at 17, all shallow, yet to be looked at in terms of how that would report to resource. So this is the third prospect that we'll be drilling at. So our strategy with Ora, restructure the balance sheet, undertake the capital raising that's fully underwritten by Canaccord, will emerge with an 11.8 million market cap, 3.3 in net cash, clean balance sheet, well funded for our short-term drilling program. We'll build the project up to a more commercial scale, and we've got the drill target sitting there, and it's about expanding them at depth and along strike. We are in a busy area, so north of Mika, we have West Gold, we have Mika Minerals. It's an interesting area. There's plenty of toll milling opportunities if that's the way we decided to go. Obviously, we're very hopeful of getting a scale to this project that would allow us to have our standalone project. So just a little bit on the key dates to the transaction. So any existing Ora shareholders that are on this call, you're welcome to ring up directly or email me directly to ask about the transaction. The offer closes in early March, and is fully underwritten by Canaccord. So with that, I'll hand back to Jane.
Alex, thanks so much. So I know you touched on this briefly. However, we had a couple of questions about what has attracted you most to the company?
So I've known Rick Crabb and Mal Randall I've known for many years, and they've got a long track record of success. So a very experienced board with a high grade project that's simple, and in WA, and can be taken forward very quickly.
Thank you. And then what else can shareholders look forward to over the next sort of 3 to 6 months?
Sure. So I mean, the key thing for us is a 3,500 metre RC program, 1,500 metres of diamond at Crown Prince and Lydia and Abbotts. Resource upgrades to follow, so that'll be a highlight for the next 6 months, and just watching that resource grow.
Thank you, Alex. Well, as a shareholder myself, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thanks, Jane.